Well, if you didn't know it already, Georgia's about to really get into a stretch here of tough games. And the biggest thing that pops out is that they're going to play the best quarterbacks they've played so far this year. Bo Nix to start the year was is a guy that Georgia's seen a lot. And not that they haven't seen these other guys because they have. They actually literally have seen every single one of these guys I'm going to talk about. But when you talk about Bo Nix, then Spencer Rattler. They have played well. They did not play well against Georgia, that's for sure. But this is what, ESPN broke this down in terms of the top NFL prospects for quarterbacks coming into the 2023 NFL draft. And guess who plays three of the top 14 of them in the next 4 weeks? The Georgia Bulldogs. So it's going to be a challenging time for Georgia. Make sure you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION today. The link is down below. You order the book, you get a T-shirt included with it, but you have to email me, dean@dogpost.com. Take advantage of this today. We might not be doing it forever, okay? First of all, you've got the Florida Gators coming right up. Here's what ESPN had to say about their number 3 NFL quarterback draft prospect, Anthony Richardson, and said, "We hear this is ESPN talking. We hear the word traits a lot regarding Richardson. He has a strong build and a massive arm, and he releases the ball with an easy flick of the wrist. But Richardson's game is still raw in every sense of the word. He still has only 8 career starts, one of which was against Georgia last year, y'all. And his game tape features a roller coaster of peaks and valleys. I do want to talk about just this moment here. There were two back-to-back plays involving Anthony Richardson last year, and we talk about it in the book. And they changed the game, and they were Anthony Richardson mistakes. Right here, Nolan Smith is literally grabbing the ball from him on a what was that, like third, second and short, or whatever it was, and the Gators were just trying to move the ball. Anthony Richardson is a big person, okay, and you can see here in the image. This is an image Ryan Curley took that Lewis Seen and Nolan and two other dogs are wrapping up Richardson, and there are another 5 players around. So 9 of Georgia's players on the field are surrounding and within probably 2 yards of Anthony Richardson. Nolan ripped the ball away, and the game changed. A couple of plays later or before, I can't remember. This is Nolan catching a tipped ball uh, and returning it to the end zone. He was down at the 10, but he returned it to the end zone anyway. And that was also another Anthony Richardson play. Nolan Smith, excuse me, Trevor Walker, I believe, tipped that ball, and Georgia took advantage of it. So when you start talking about, Anthony Richardson's raw, yes, he is. He is also not good at times. And this is, non-hate. I mean, he's got to play better if he wants a shot to beat Georgia. And I was talking not that long ago, actually, to an assistant in the league. And their view of the world was, hey, listen, Florida basically has Anthony Richardson. He is what they've got. If you stop him, it's over. So that was their take on it. Here's the number four top NFL quarterback prospects according to ESPN. They've got Kentucky's Will Levis, who has been a little bit up and down in my view when you watch him play. Here's what ESPN had to say: a well-built and powerful thrower, Levis is already doing a lot of the things inside the Wildcats offense that will be asked of him in the NFL. He operates often from both under center and out of the shotgun. He seems to be best when the offense centers around play action. In 6 games, he has 1,635 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. He definitely outplayed Anthony Richardson when those two played. And we're going to see Will Levis against the number 5 guy that ESPN has next week up at Neyland Stadium. But, when you talk about Levis, that Kentucky team is gritty and tough. And they're not as good as they were a season ago. Here's Will Levis. You can't see it because I got it cut off in the middle of the page. But, that Kentucky team really fought Georgia. And, that game at Commonwealth is not going to be a simple exercise. And Levis is one of the reasons why Kentucky is good. Is he unbelievable? He's a very good quarterback. He is. Number 5 is the guy that a lot of people think has zoomed to the top of the Heisman race, making it a 1-2 thing with C.J. Stroud. And that's Hendon Hooker at Tennessee. And here's what ESPN has to say: the pilot of a high-flying offense. Hooker is one of the best one of the biggest risers of the season. An argument can be made that he's in the driver's seat of the Heisman Trophy. He has above average arm strength and accuracy. He is a poised passer who can decipher and deliver with speed. He has managed to record 1,817 yards passing and thrown 15 touchdowns with only one interception. That was coming into this weekend. But Hooker's also an underrated runner, 287 yards, three more scores, showcasing timely scrambles outside the pocket that can help him take advantage of voids in the defense. I was talking to Matt DeBerry, who y'all all know, yesterday, and I said, Hendon Hooker's like a poor man's Deshaun Watson. Like, and this, I don't mean this directed towards what Watson can do and and so forth, but he can scramble you out of 2nd and 10 into where you just be tossing out of bounds or possibly taking a sack. He can get you into 3rd and 6. And I'm telling you, that makes a huge difference. I mean, everything about football are the margins. This is a game of inches. Yeah, it's a game of margins, just like everything in life, business, etc. And Hendon Hooker, what he can do for you is get you out of a little bit of trouble. Now, a season ago against Georgia, he did throw a pick, and I'll be honest, I don't know what he was doing on that play. He will have, I don't know about the ultimate challenge for him when he comes to Georgia to play in a couple of weeks, but it will be extremely challenging. It will be very noisy. It would have been, I would have said Death Valley a couple of weeks ago, but that was a noon game. Tennessee just jumped on them. I mean, Tennessee very well could jump on the Dogs. I mean, we don't know, right? But it will be a challenging situation for Hendon Hooker when he comes to Athens for the first time as a starting quarterback. I want to make sure y'all are taking advantage of DoorDash. Limited time, our listeners, everybody who's listening right now, you can get 50% off of a $20 value, $0 in delivery fees when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code DAWG, D-A-W-G. Do not forget the code. That's 50% off of a $20 value and $0 in delivery fees when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code DAWG. Remember, the link is right down below. The code is DAWG, D-A-W-G, just like Dog Post, for $50 off of, 50% off a $20 value, $0 in delivery fees with DoorDash, subject to change and terms apply. This final guy, Georgia got to see him as a freshman, and he was trouble. He was trouble in 2020. Here's what ESPN had to say about Mississippi State's Will Rogers. It said Will Rogers is a steady distributor with an average arm, but he is very decisive with his throws because of his efficiency, quick release, and assertiveness in finding the early options. And on his progressions, he has managed to throw for 2,324 yards and 23 touchdowns, both top 3 numbers in the country. But his 5.5 air yards per passing attempts ranks 125th in the country. That's a testament to how he takes advantage of underneath areas. That's also how people are playing Mississippi State. That's something too that if you're watching this is probably while Alabama is playing. Watch the way that Alabama plays Mississippi State. That's going to be something that Georgia will do a lot of. And with State, you don't want to give away big plays if you can hit, but you want to make them try to go down the field on you. And we saw in 2020 exactly what was going on when Mississippi State came to Athens and really fought Georgia hard. And a lot of that was because of Will Rogers' play. JT Daniels went for 300 plus. I can't remember exactly how many yards it was, but Georgia could not run the ball. And that's just a thing. I say this probably too much, but if you want to stop the run, you can stop the run, but you might get torched. And that night they did get torched. So a lot of people basically are cool with Mississippi State getting torched. With State torching you in the passing game, as long as you don't let them run very much, or as long as you come up and tackle. The lost art of tackling will be a very important thing to watch when Georgia eventually plays Mississippi State. It is critical to come up and tackle these guys because basically State is saying, hey, we're going to throw these balls, real quick. They're going to be 3 to 4 yard throws, like from the line of scrimmage, and you're going to have to come up and tackle. And if you do not come up and tackle, we're going to go get 6 more yards. And it's going to be a first down. So they're not necessarily trying for the big ball all the time. That's what there's some confusion about this sort of stuff. State is going to dink and dunk you to death. And I think it's really frustrating and challenging for Kirby and company. He talked about this. I asked him after the state game in 2020 how hard it is to continue to play your defense when they are dink and dunking you, and you still have to believe in what you're doing. And that was the challenge for Georgia in 2020. And that will be the challenge in 2022 when they face Rogers, who has not gotten any worse. But anyway, Georgia's got those four, quarterbacks that are catching the eyes of the professional ranks. That's what's coming up at the Dogs. Tell me who you think the best one is in our comments down below. Thanks for watching.